Everybody, welcome to the Video Game Break Podcast. I'm Carl Sordella. Today I'm joined by...
I am Kinsey Burke, and I'm the PR manager for Seattle Retro Gaming.
And also...
Nathan Martin. I'm the co-founder of Seattle Retro Gaming Expo, and I also run the Classic Console Free Play rooms here at SakuraCon.
And yes, we are here at SakuraCon. Oh, you said it better. I say SakuraCon, and I'm wrong, right?
I don't know. It's like technically it's like SakuraCon, but
oh wow, there's three ways to say it. You said it better than I.
I feel kind of bad when I say it that way.
I'm really white, so I
Okay, that's fine.
I say SakuraCon.
I have a friend who calls it SakuraCon. I'm like,
Oh, there's no
that's just
I,
right
though.
out.
Well, they're
yeah,
wrong.
that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
They're wrong.
Well, we're here at the con, and I grabbed you two because it's been so hard to nail each other down. We've all been so busy, but we wanted to get you on the podcast because you guys had me on your podcast, which is a great show, by the way.
Yes, it
you
is.
should watch Seattle Retro Gaming Podcast. Well, now that we're here, it segues perfectly into something I normally ask all the guests: what you do in the gaming industry and how you got started in the gaming industry. Nathan, why don't you start, and then you can segue into what you're doing here.
Okay, so I've, like everybody who grew up in the 80s, I loved video games and NES, and living here in the Northwest, I always thought, like, oh, maybe someday I'll work at Nintendo. And then, but I never thought it would happen. And so one day I got a call from a recruiter. I posted my resume around, this is like post-college or whatever. And they said, hey, we need somebody to do software testing. And it happened to be a QA job at Nintendo working on Pokemon, like the German translation of Pokemon
German
Blue.
Translation. Interesting.
Yeah, this was 98, I think. And so I started there as a QA, moved into the call center, and that's how I got into kind of like, I realized, I don't have to be, a project manager or some office drone. I could actually do something with video games.
Yeah.
So I ignored that dream and went back to become a project manager. So
You just made that voice get quiet in your head.
yeah, I covered it with food, and
Covering things with food is okay, though.
I know, especially if
I know
that thing is
that's-
cheese.
I know a lot about food. That's good.
By the way, we should have a food podcast at
I know,
some
we
point.
talk about food all
Because
the
we
time.
talk about
I did register hotforstats.com, by the way.
Oh,
I don't know if I
good.
told you. So
It should almost be hot for food, but yeah.
So I started at Nintendo for a while, kind of left that alone and went back to the normal business world. And so now what I do to reconnect with video games is I do hobbyist things like putting on the Seattle Retro Gaming Expo, running the free play room here at SakuraCon, and donating my games to shows like PAX. And so that's kind of what I do now.
That's interesting that you say it's a hobbyist because I feel like it's a pretty big part of your life, isn't it, too? I mean, it feels
is.
like a lot of people know about it, and you guys have a conference, which is huge, right? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. The show and the video game trivia, the question block that I also do, like those things kind of define me as a person more than my jobs do. And I'm happy with things being that way, but I'm also happy enough that I don't have to make money at doing it. I just enjoy it.
Right. That's awesome. You can balance it out, and that's what I think a lot of us try to struggle with. Like, well, what are the things that I love doing, the passions I love doing, and then also I've got to eat food, and
Yeah.
I've got to, not to go back to food, but I have to like support myself and stuff.
Yeah, so that's kind of that's how I got here is just doing it as a hobby and it becoming more and more important part of my life.
And would you like to see, obviously, that sway into that direction of
yeah.
being doing this more? Than,
Yeah, if somebody wants to pay me $60,000 a year to put on shows and video game trivia and all that, I would totally do it.
Deal, yeah.
Okay, and then here, what you're doing at the con this year, what do? You host the console room?
So yeah, this year I'm here. Even before Seattle Retro Gaming Expo, I was a part of SakuraCon. I started out as a volunteer. I was on their board of directors for a while. That was too much. I like anime, but I'm not that much into it. So I dialed that back, and now I just run the retro room here, which is basically a giant room filled with old TVs and old video games from my library. Since I've started the show, we've expanded that library thanks to donations from other volunteers and staff from SRGE.
Cool.
Yeah, and so I continue to do that here and get to participate.
So people take a break from their cosplay or in cosplay and go play some old school games.
Oh yeah, there's nothing better than watching Dr. Mario play Dr. Mario.
I was gonna say, do you take pictures? Because there'd be some great pictures of Loki playing.
Yeah, I
Super
don't,
Mario Bros.
but the people love it. They
Yeah.
come in, yeah. We have Captain N comes by every year. And
Nice. All right, Kinsey, you go then. So how'd you get involved in doing the gaming stuff?
Well, I've been playing video games forever. Like, when I was little, I started with an NES, and apparently I had an Atari before that. I don't remember. But, I've been
There's
playing...
stories of me playing Atari,
Yeah,
but I don't
remember
Yeah.
it at all. But, so I've been playing video games my whole life. I didn't actually do anything industry-wise until I was about 21. I got a job at Game Crazy, and I managed Game Crazies for a couple years.
That was the Hollywood Video one, right?
Yeah, it was connected to Hollywood
Which is
Video,
gone.
and they're
Both are
gone.
yeah.
So that went well. And then I managed Another Castle, which is a local video game store here in Washington.
That's still around.
It's still around, and
Yeah.
it's expanding, and it's awesome. And they're opening an arcade.
Yeah, their arcade just expanded, right?
Yeah,
Whoa.
they're opening a
and where are
barcade.
they? What part of
Edmonds.
Edmonds,
Washington. So just north of Seattle.
On Highway 99, right?
Yep. And so, other than that, I'm not really doing anything work-wise for video games right now, with the exception of Seattle Retro Gaming Expo, and that takes up a lot of my time, and I love it. And I do all of their social media and PR and.
You're
all
on the
that.
Twitters all the time.
I'm on the Twitters all
I know
the
that if I
time.
send a tweet out, Seattle Retro Gaming will probably check it out or retweet or favorite or something. Cool. And then Nathan, real quick on how you got started. Well, like how long you've been playing video games. Basically your whole life, probably, right?
Pretty much. My first system was a ColecoVision. I got that, I think, when I was like 4 or 5. And it just never stopped from there. You know?
We talked about that on your podcast, and I think I remember Smurfs being a thing.
Oh man,
One of the
Smurfs.
worst games ever made.
Oh, I thought it was fine.
Wait, how did you think it was fine?
There
We
are-
talked about you would jump anything and fall over and just die.
Yeah, it's just a hard game. That's all.
Just like real Smurfs.
Just like real Smurfs.
They
When
jump
you-
and die all the time.
They do. I guess they could. They're small.
They are small.
They are small.
Let's go into the stages. We have such a short amount of time. I want to get right to all 3 stages. First stage is... So interesting, real quick. Every time I say the name of the stage, usually, sometimes people will say the name of the stage back, or it'll be silent, which is awkward. Or we'll get what you just did, and you'll just exclaim.
I was excited
I
about
know.
it.
So in this stage, we talk about the games that we're hyper excited that we're playing now, or that we're hyper excited that are coming out soon. So I have a couple, but why don't you guys start if you want?
Okay, Kinsey, you want to go first?
Sure. I guess the game I'm most excited about coming out would be Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh, it was off my radar.
Oh my god, Dragon Age.
I know,
I'm
but
having a moment here.
you
like,
are.
I
You're
can't-
holding onto the desk. You're getting the what is it? The hot flashes? No, not the hot flashes.
I think it's the hot for stats that's coming
You're getting
down.
what do they say? You're getting the
Flushed.
no. You're getting the somethings.
Getting
Oh,
the
the
getting hard on
vapors.
for
The
Dragon Age.
vapors. You're getting the vapors.
Yep.
That's an old timey
What is
saying.
that?
He's like, what is that?
Oh
mean?"
no, I have heard that,
You
but I
get-
don't know
you
what it
can't-
means.
can't- Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Inquisition, and it comes out when? And
It comes out sometime, hopefully this year, and
just more Dragon Age.
It's just more Dragon Age, but I love Dragon Age. Nobody liked 2. I enjoyed 2. I thought it's not as good as 1, so Dragon Age fans don't come murder me, but it's still fun. I had a great time playing it.
Origins. Your thoughts about Origins?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I've played it numerous times.
I just added that to our list. We have a Super Battle page list on the website, and it just pits all the games against each other. I'm trying to add all of them, like I was telling Kinsey, like ever, and it's taking a while.
Oh,
I can see that.
I have those in a database if you want.
Do you really? Well, how up to date?
Oh, it's all retro stuff, so it ends at PlayStation.
I might be able to still utilize that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work. But anyways, Dragon Age Origins was just added. I remember adding it. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
oh,
awesome.
you should vote for it.
It's maybe I will now.
Maybe you will.
Like every day.
It just all of a sudden becomes number one. Well, the thing with that you can't vote for just the same thing over and over again
Well, that's
it
dumb.
pitches.
Just kidding.
Well, we'll take it down after this. Nathan, what are you excited about?
I am really excited about a game that is in Kickstarter mode right now called Heart Forth. It's
Heart Forth?
Yeah, it's a 16-bit / 32-bit style 2D RPG game, but it's more of a. I think they're a self-proclaimed Metroidvania RPG.
Okay.
It looks beautiful. The artist or the person who's been working on it is doing everything himself, all the art, and he's kickstarting because the things that he can't do, like music and some of the harder programming tasks, he needs to farm out. And it's just a beautiful looking RPG, it harkens back to kind of Star Ocean and
Ooh.
some of the later era Super Nintendo 16-bit RPGs. And I just can't wait to play it. I mean, it looks beautiful.
What do you think it's coming out for? PC?
It's PC right now. I didn't look at the Kickstarter because I'm just planning on playing it through Steam. Or it got greenlit, I believe, too.
Yeah. Dude, I'm all over that greenlit stuff.
It's really awesome.
I was playing this game called Cosmocoria. Did you guys see me tweet about that? It's it's like a 2D. You're on these little planets. You're a little astronaut, and you're planting things like seeds to make like plants and stuff. But then you're fighting monsters who are flying and aliens. and you like have to take off of orbit off the little planet with your little jetpack, and then you've got to like navigate like lunar lander style and land on another planet.
It's pretty awesome.
It's
That is
crazy.
pretty cool.
Yeah, so I love the green light over
So
at Steam.
on that note, I'm also really excited for Starbound.
Oh yeah, you haven't played it yet?
So no, I have not played it. It's not full retail mode yet.
I
is
guess
it?
it isn't. I've been playing it for a while. I can't remember how I've been playing it. But.
So a part of the Seattle Retro Gaming Expo this year that's new for us is we're going to have an indie dev booth area. So we are looking at indie devs that are coming in, and they've been approaching us, and so
That's super cool.
I'm getting in a huge kick for like indie games.
Yeah, and it's crazy how the PC is alive and well right now, y'all.
Yeah,
Really?
it is. I finally got my first gaming PC besides my old Tandy.
Yeah.
So
And you mean Tandy Color Computer from 1990.
So what was the first PC game you installed on your new gaming PC?
well, Steam, but I had a Steam library already that people gifted to me, or I attempted to play on my old computer that never worked.
Okay.
So KOTOR was my first Steam game ever,
Aw.
Nice.
and I love that game. So I already started replaying it.
Well, yeah, it's cool, and especially with those Steam boxes, it seems like another reason for them to be successful because Steam is what people are saying. Well, we all just said Steam when we said PC. Like we don't
Yeah,
think
that's
of,
what
like,
you mean when you
Yeah,
say PC is
yeah.
Steam.
All right, well, I'm also hyper excited about this game I just saw this morning called The Forest, which is a survival horror game. And on the last couple podcasts ago, we were talking about wanting these survival games to be more like, planting things and, not as simple as Minecraft, a little more in depth, and also having like, more realistic graphics. Because obviously a lot of people like the concepts behind Minecraft and crafting and this little world that you're in. But they want to see, I would love to see it more in a, realistic fashion. That's what this game is. Plus it's scary, plus there's mutants. And you can do things like plant seeds, and there's a tide that goes in and out with the day-night cycle. I said it's kind of like Creepers in HD, because there's like, monsters that look really scary, and they come out at night to attack whatever shelter you have.
I think mutants are a really underutilized character type in video games.
Okay.
I always think of Fallout.
Fallout?
Yeah,
Oh,
Super
yeah.
Mutants.
Super Mutants.
That's what I always
yeah.
think of.
Or X-Men.
Oh yeah,
Right, X-Men.
I don't know why my brain didn't go there. 'Cause that makes sense.
Because that's a totally different. Like, X-Men mutants are like cool, like it's a superhero.
Yeah.
But in mutants in
They
Fallout,
never-
it's,
they
like,
never-
scary.
Yeah.
They never talk about all the evolutionary steps that kind of suck. Like
Yeah, I know.
your
The
mutant
very
power is
beginning.
you have 3 extra pinkies somewhere on your body.
Or like things where you can't even walk because you're like, okay, that's depressing. But anyways, this game looks cool. Check out the trailer. It's up on the website, videogamebreak.net, our site. I did an article on it real quick and just showed the trailers off. Looks cool. I'm really excited about survival horror. A little more realistic part of it, mixed with Minecraft. I'm all about it.
Nice.
And also Ernesto RPG. Really quickly, I tweeted this last night. This guy, Daniel, I believe something. Sorry, I forgot.
Daniel Game Maker.
Daniel the Game Maker. I will put it in the show notes. He's working on this game called Storyteller a long time ago. It was shown off at GDC, and it's kind of like a choose your own adventure game, and it's 2D Storyteller 2D choose your own adventure. It's brilliant, like smartly, quietly brilliant. He kind of got like, when you get inside a game for so long, you're like, okay, I gotta step away from it for a while.
Yeah.
So he got a little, tired of that for a minute. Not tired of the game, but like just exhausted. And he worked on this little mini game called Ernesto RPG, and it's basically one screen where you click around and all the items are right there. So like gold, a monster, a sword, the entrance to the dungeon, the exit to the dungeon, and you gotta kind of like puzzle questy get through
Oh.
the whole map.
Cool. Yeah.
Huh.
And you pick every different direction you're going in. So if I go to the right, I get some gold. I go to the left, I get a sword. That sword might help me kill the monster, but then I lose health, so I have to get a potion. And you got to like navigate your way through the screen. It's super simple,
sounds
but
really
addictive.
familiar.
What does it sound like? Oh wait, does it sound like some other game that someone in this area is working on now? Crap.
Oh.
Wait a minute, hold on. I don't know. Can I retract my hyper excited now? Because now I'm hyper bummed.
So can we talk about game making for a little bit?
Yeah, I mean,
Because so for Hyper, I wanted to say that my favorite games right now are game making tools.
oh yeah,
Right. So I am spending a lot of time with Game Maker. We talked about this a little bit on the previous podcast, and I'm learning about tools that people use that I think are awesome. So interactive fiction. You guys know Zork,
Yeah.
right? All those kind of old
All about
text-based adventures.
Infocom?
There's a new tool that people are using to make interactive fiction called Twine.
Yes, I know of it.
Have you guys heard about
Yeah, I
this?
have, and there's a couple others ones. There's one from the UK I've been using. I should send you some links.
Yeah, let me know.
I love those tools. They're great.
Yeah, they're games that people can play. If you want to call interactive fiction a game or not, we can have that discussion. But people use it also to kind of flesh out their game stories when they're making something, when they're in the process of, developing their story and writing it.
Is that the one that has that's like the one I saw has tools like literally visual tools where you can see the room itself that you've just made
No,
and kind of
no.
connect the room to the next room, and then that fills in the text.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know. I don't know why people aren't using this. I'll find it and put it in the show notes, and I'll send it to you.
Okay, that'd
But
be
basically,
great.
it's something like that. But instead of just typing everything out, you can like visually put the room down and be like, and it says exits north and south, and just kind of put little, flow chart and stuff.
Nice.
So you're into that, and you might be might or may not be making a game that is similar to. Or next to
I
RPG.
might be, yeah.
Anyways,
So it's very. I'll just say this. It's a sequel of. It's in spirit a sequel to Adventure for the 2600.
Oh.
So it's mind you, this is what I'm talking about now is like it's more a learning experience. So I don't know that I'll ever sell it or do anything with it.
Yeah.
But I've got plenty of time to make changes.
Hey, you know what he did? He put up his Ernesto RPG. He's going to do a commercial release of it, but he put up the basic version he had on Congregate. Is that right? Congregate?
Congregate, yeah.
Yeah, and a million people played it because they're it's free.
Yeah.
So that's something you could do too.
Team Meat did the same thing with Super Meat Boy.
See? Well, anyways, he's going to do a commercial for that in the meantime while he's working on Storyteller. But he's going to get back to Storyteller. Everybody go Google Storyteller, Story-Teller game, and just check it out. It's going to be awesome. Okay, next stage, because we got to get through this. You were doing the... I don't know if... You were doing like the delay, then I don't have to put the delay in. So I don't know what that was.
I forgot I was supposed to do something,
You
so
could
I was
just-
like,
You do whatever.
Oh, no.
That's fine.
Wait, was I supposed to say something else?
No. Usually they just like repeat the word back.
Oh.
Like so I say turbo, you say turbo.
I said turbo. What did I say?
But you said turbo.
Okay, good.
Turbo.
Whatever you did, it's gonna work. Here we go. This is the stage where we ask an old school video game question. I've deemed retro as PS1 and before.
Okay.
Because
Deal.
we're old enough now, PS1's kind of retro.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question today is, what game or video game accessory do you remember buying, or your parents buying, that was uber expensive? Whether it be like a game that was way, like it seemed like super expensive, or a controller or something like that. I have two answers. Do you guys have one?
Okay. Yeah, I've got a couple actually. The first one that comes to mind for me is the Steel Battalion.
Oh, that thing is
yeah.
$1 million.
Yeah, when I bought it new, I just I don't even like mech games, but I have to own that controller.
The thing was $200 or something, right?
It was $200 and it came with the game. It was a huge box that was made up to look like a steel ammo box, and it was a really cool controller. It was totally worth the purchase, but just crazy expensive. And it came out at a time when I was working like part-time and going to school. I was
geez.
eating ramen, and I was like, I still bought it, and just dealt with not having money for 2 months.
That's dedication.
But it was fun. It was totally worth it.
How many times do you think you actually used it to play that game?
I got to level 6 of 10, stage 6.
Okay.
So
Nice.
that was probably like 6 hours of just like really cranking at it. And then after that, I kind of like,
And you couldn't really use a controller for anything else, right?
No.
It was like
No.
the- yeah.
no.
40 buttons of Steel Battalion only.
Yep.
Well, they have the expansion.
They do. They have the second
do
game,
they?
which
Yeah.
is multiplayer, and
Yeah.
of course, the multiplayer system link version can have up to 10 Steel Battalion controllers.
So
What?
intense.
Yes,
That's
and
for something for a conference or like a convention.
That-
Yeah.
In fact,
funny you should mention that.
we have that
Wow.
at Seattle Retro.
How many segues have we done this show already? It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Cool.
There is that, and then the other expensive accessory that was expensive because of the way I bought it was the trance vibrator for Res. So I bought it as an import for the Dreamcast, or that was
We all know what that's for.
PlayStation 2.
I know. Is it what
Are you
I'm thinking
experiencing
it's
the
what
game?
it's for?
So yeah,
I'm confused.
Yeah. Okay. So you can buy Res now through Xbox Live on the 360, and what it does is it promoted this idea of synesthesia, which is a combining of all the senses
all that sounds dirty, man.
create a cohesive
Very,
experience.
this is going dirty, but we have an explicit
Stick with
take
me.
on this, so
Stick
it's
with
fine.
me. And what they did is they used the controller to vibrate function to act as it. But before that happened, there was a PlayStation 2 version that was literally just a vibrator that you plugged into the USB port of the PS2, and you can put it. You're supposed to put it on your body somewhere.
Anywhere. Could be your neck,
Yes.
your calf.
You should try Google image searching trans vibrator. It's gonna go really well.
It's gonna go well.
And they knew what you were going to do with it because it came with a soft sleeve that was machine washable.
Oh, jeez. But that game too, it's so weird because like the game isn't very, like it's not visually stimulating.
It's not.
Riz is not visually
No.
stimulating?
Okay, wait.
It's not sexy.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is the most beautiful,
I'm back.
awesome,
I'm back in.
visually stimulating game. I meant like visually stimulating for those other purposes.
Depends on what gets you off.
So
That's true. You could be a
Not
techno.
that Res
No, I
is
get
my
it.
thing,
No, I
but-
know. You could be like techno-y, very yeah.
Well, I remember when the Trans Vibrator came out, there was I don't remember who it was. Was it Jessica Chobot or someone else that ran Game Girl Advance, and they did a review of the Trans Vibrator, and that kind of I know that review launched that person's career.
Oh.
But for my part, I just like the idea, and this was something that happened a lot in the PlayStation 1 era of experimenting with new methods of input.
Yeah.
And at the time,
there it is again, though, isn't it? Yeah. Continue.
yeah. So
Explicit tag.
So there was the JogCon and the NegCon that Namco made for their racing games, and there was the fishing controllers. Those first appeared in this timeline, and the Trans Vibrator. So I wanted to support that kind of thing. I wanted to see what they were doing with it.
And how much was it? Was that you said it was expensive?
It was an import, so I wound up paying I think maybe $100 for the game plus the vibrator,
Okay.
which for me is not. It's more than I was spending at the time.
Yeah. All right. What expensive for you?
Mine's not Steel Battalion expensive, but the first thing I could think of is probably Samba de Amigo on the Dreamcast.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think it was maybe like $8,200
With the
with the
little
pad.
bongos?
That had
the
the
pad and the
mat,
maracas.
Oh, the
and
maracas.
actual
that's right.
maracas.
Yeah, it had like this big pad that they had to stand on that had the motion in it because it's
Oh,
Dreamcast,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But then you have the maracas that are like attached to this big pad, and like it's pretty intense. But I just remember like, oh my god, I loved Samba de Amigo. And then when it came out for the Wii, I was excited, and then I played it like once, and then I just got out the Dreamcast one because I was like, this is way better.
Right, because you're just using the Wii controller and it's not the cool
yeah,
maracas.
they have like the big maraca attachments for it, but they're like ginormous,
Yeah.
and you're like, this
Do they
is
actually have the
uncomfortable.
beads in there? Or
Yeah.
okay.
The maraca attachments.
Yeah, because you need
too.
that shake
Yeah.
sound. Yeah.
But Samba de
That
Amigo,
was in the arcade.
you got my
right?
heart. Yeah.
Or is it
And
still
Taiko
there?
Drum Master, but that's PS2. But
Yeah.
Taiko Drum Master, that was a peripheral?
yeah, it's a big taiko drum.
Nice.
Or like at GameWorks, they have just like an actual size taiko drum that you can play Taiko Drum Master, and it's wonderful.
What do you think? Oh, you said it was about $80, $90.
I think so. When it came
Okay.
out, like 8,200 maybe. Nah, maybe
Yeah.
not 100, but yeah.
That's pretty good. I think the two that I have in mind are one, the NES Advantage.
I love that thing.
I love that thing.
yeah.
Whenever I say it to people, it brings back fond memories.
It's the
And I remember
only.
it being really expensive.
I was a
It's
Genesis kid
$60 or something.
when I was little.
It was nice because it had the metal plate on the bottom, so it was really
It was
sturdy.
really sturdy. Those little soft feet, you know. Whenever I put it down somewhere, yeah, it's gonna stay there.
And the best thing about the NES Advantage, I don't know how many people realize this, but it's the only controller that does turbo right.
oh yeah, well,
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
the TurboGrafx had pretty good
No,
turbo
yeah.
on their
I'm
controllers.
sorry.
It's in the name.
I mean for the NES.
It
Like
is in the name.
any
That should
third
have been
party
their slogan. It's in the name. We do turbo.
any NES controller that has turbo on it sucks except for the NES Advantage.
That is true. That is correct. Yeah, I
But
remember
the
that.
ASCII pad.
And they had slow
it's
motion.
alright.
Didn't NES have the slow
It
motion?
had slow motion, yeah.
Which just didn't work for every game.
It
Because
just pauses it.
Konami games never work because when you pause it go
did it, and you can't do that. But some games it would work. It was pretty great. NES Advantage, and that was like I think $60 or something when you're a kid.
And for a
back then.
controller back then.
Controller?
You know, like,
Yeah.
Controllers, like my parents would be like, controllers come with the system.
yeah.
What are you doing buying an
Free.
extra controller?
Like,
My parents sounded like this for some reason. And then also the big one, I think I might have talked about already, is the TurboGrafx CD-ROM, which came in its own
yeah.
case that was way too large for its own good, and it was like $300. And I remember working as a janitor at like a middle school, like in the summer, like scraping the tables and stuff with the gum, just to make all that summer money went to the TurboGrafx CD-ROM.
man, gamers are awesome.
That dedication.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
All right, this. By the way, that was way too expensive, though. It should have been a lower price. It was like 300 plus.
The Turbo CD came out at a time when regular CD players were still really expensive.
That's true. It was
Yeah.
just a technology time.
Yeah.
All right, last stage.
Super Battle.
Just me. That's fine.
Oh,
Good. I use that one. So this is a turn-based. Normally, we can do it two ways. We can do one where we look at the website and we just look at whatever's. We refresh the Super Battle page and we pick which one we like of those two games. But today, I thought we'd do old school because of Seattle Retro Gaming. Old school, two people.
All right.
Turn-based RPG versus action RPG.
deal.
Period.
Turn-based. Bam.
Whoa,
We're done.
done.
With this, we're done with this discussion.
I beg to differ.
Okay, wait. We have one vote that's just off the table and done. Turn-based, and it's over. I
No.
guess
If we're talking
Count-
retro.
So
we're talking retro. This is what this. Yeah.
Give me a little bit about what's the winning condition?
Wait, hold on. Okay, so this I just
the winning condition is that it's better, and it's called turn-based.
Okay, calm
Oh
down.
no.
And secondly, actually, this one isn't retro. Retro was the turbo stage. This is just anything. This is just what do you enjoy better? What do you think you enjoy better?
So the question is kind of which genre is better?
Yeah, which genre?
Okay. Yeah.
We got turn-based down for
Yeah.
one.
Well, okay.
Oh, you're
Let me elaborate.
How
I'm
can
not,
you,
not swapping.
You can't flip-flop.
My vote
when
is
you're-
for turn-based. That's my final vote.
Okay.
Okay.
But whenever people say "but," it's just gonna like. So what I said
It
before.
weakens your point.
What I
Yeah.
said before, that doesn't matter
Right.
anymore.
So go ahead and say but and weaken your point now.
Okay, weakened point. Nowadays, I kind of do prefer action, like Dragon Age, Skyrim, like stuff like that. Just because I feel like I'm getting somewhere faster than in turn-based. But when I was younger, I loved turn-based was my jam. Like if it was actiony, I assumed I'd be worse at it because when you're turn-based, you have more time to like think about it and be like, okay, well this thing's weak against this, and so I'm gonna do this, but then they're gonna do this. Like you have more time to like. It's more methodical, I guess, and I loved turn-based when I was little.
So your answer is
Turn-based.
0.
Turn-based.
Oh, because you almost just canceled yourself out there. But it's still turn-based. Nathan,
Okay,
go
so-
for action.
So the thing about action games is that it's easy to screw them up. There's bad action RPG games like
That's true.
Faxanadu, and like they're just not very good, right? Crystalis is great, Legend of Zelda is great, but there's not very many of those. There's tons
I
of
never think of
turn-based
Zelda
RPGs.
as an RPG. It's an adventure game.
Separate
but-
topic. New podcast.
Yeah. Okay. What about ActRaiser? Would you consider ActRaiser an action RPG?
I guess that's a cool map.
It's got leveling and
Secret
stuff.
of Mana, Secret of Evermore, these
Yeah,
games.
Secret
Yeah.
of Evermore, Secret of Mana, yeah, all of those.
Okay, so there are. I think there's clearly more turn-based RPGs than there are, right? And the ones that are action RPGs, they're hit or miss. I think that you can do more with an action-based RPG than you can with a turn-based RPG. It's just not done as well. So that's one of the reasons
Wait,
why.
what's your vote then for?
My vote's for action-based RPGs as,
okay.
as the better genre. I think there's more.
What can be done with it?
It expand. Yeah, there's more there. There's more meat on them bones, and it's more in my wheelhouse. Turn-based RPGs has a pretty deep rabbit hole too, where you get into strategy stuff like Ogre Battle and Final Fantasy Tactics. That is not my jam.
Right,
I
there's
suck at those.
turn-based and then there's turn-based.
Tactics games, grid-based tactics games are not my thing.
Okay, see, we had to make that clear. Asterisk.
Yeah.
Okay.
All like the Final Fantasy games. Final Fantasy 9 is my favorite
Yeah.
game of all time. That kind of turn-based.
Then
Like
there's
the
al-
story's beautiful. It's turn-based, and it's
And there's also that kind of mid-ground where there's turn-based, kind of real-time, right? That kind of hybrid that happens.
Kingdom Heartsy game.
Yeah, and even some Final Fantasy, right? That,
Didn't the
there's-
VATS
Started
system in
with,
Fallout kind of try to
12.
toe that line?
Which one?
VATS in Fallout.
Oh yeah, Fallout, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could pause and take as much time as you wanted.
Yeah.
Like, what was the game I was just playing? Hitman. Interesting. I know it's a weird turn-based you're saying, but when you do that Matrix mode, you're like, doing headshots and like planning things out, but they're still kind of moving, like really
yeah.
slow.
Yeah.
That's just, it's not really an RPG, but yeah, that's an interesting kind of hybrid. So
Yeah.
there are the hybrids, but when we say turn-based, we're talking about generally you're taking your turn, the next person's going.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then action is just all the time, always. No hybrid. So we got either or. I think I'm the deciding vote.
You are the
I
choose your
will-
side wisely.
I know, I have to, as you both sharpen your knives. I definitely am going to talk to both because I think they both have their great values. The thing that I'm going with more action right now because, hold on, I haven't made a decision. So I started with turn-based because even Ultima, like Ultima 1, was turn-based. you would go with this little guy on the map, and every time you would walk one space, a monster, if he was on the map, would walk one space.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you have to like walk, like you're like, okay, I'll go down by these mountains, and
Yeah.
he'll have to go to the mountains, and I kind of outrun him in that way.
Yeah.
You know, like
like
sneakily.
you're secretly hoping he'll do something different, and then he does the thing you don't want him to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You walk left, and you're like, he'll probably walk right. He walks left, and you're like, damn it. Okay, none of the people listening know what we're talking about, but it's an old game.
Izuna does that too, and so does some of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeons.
Oh, do they?
Roguelikes will do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that style is what I started with, and of course Fallout was something I loved with the VAT system we talked about, where you can strategize exactly how you want to do.
Love Fallout.
Yeah, your battling, and of course old school JRPGs. Grew up with them. Love the idea of looking at my items, making sure where my potions are. That's why I got so pissed at Diablo 3 when they wouldn't let me. That's a separate thing. But use those you can't use unlimited potions in Diablo 3.
What?
There was a cooldown phase.
Really?
Fuck them.
Oh, I hate cooldown phases.
Only swear of the whole show so far. But fuck them for that cooldown phase.
I agree. Fuck them.
Okay, good. Thanks. That's 2 swears now. But yeah, so anyway, so I love the turn-based part where you can kind of take your time and manage your stuff. But then, that being said, I love Skyrim, one of my favorite experiences ever. I love the idea of being able to just go into the world and fight. I recently played Ravensword on the Ouya, which is an Android game, but it's just like Skyrim, third person most of the time.
Ravensword.
Ravensword something. There's another subtitle name there. Anyways, I've been getting into that because okay, here's the thing. With Skyrim, it's action, but when you go to your menu screen, everyone stopped.
Yeah.
Can that be my choice? Because that's my choice. It's like I like the action first and foremost, but I still want to be able to have a fucking moment to be like, okay, hold on, I gotta look at where my potions are.
Yeah. I hate games where you pause and they keep
hitting
going.
you,
Oh,
which
I
is
hate
like
that.
real life. But
Doesn't Zombie U do that? When you go into your inventory, like you have to.
I think so.
You have to
Yeah.
go into your backpack, and like zombies can attack you.
on your Wii U screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think your
So-
I think your choice.
My choice is action, isn't it?
I think so. I think that's the choice that the industry is making now.
Okay.
They are. There's not very much turn. Like right now, as far as turn-based goes, it's like Tails
Yeah.
and a
And,
couple
and
of
it makes sense too because like the whole reason turn-based or strategy games like that kind of exist is because they started from this kind of Dungeons and Dragons mentality where you got pencil and
Yeah,
paper,
right.
you give people rules and then they have to follow the rules. Well, obviously, when you're doing it in the real world, you have to stop and figure out the rules and do the math or whatever. In turn-based games, it's kind of the same thing. You input it, the computer is able to understand your inputs, and then it calculates and displays the results for you. But the better the games get and the better the developers get, the less time things like that need. And I think the culmination
Yeah.
of that is Baldur's Gate, which uses the actual Dungeons and Dragons mechanics in the back end
And formulas and math.
and all that stuff to generate, to figure out the outcomes of the battles that are happening in real time in the game.
That's an interesting point that it was like from necessity it started. Like, hey, listen, we got to like slow this down and figure it out.
Yeah.
And now as systems are so fast, they can be like, yeah, we figured that out already.
Yeah.
Like, just go and play the game. Well, that's interesting. Oh, go ahead.
Also, I think turn-based is becoming a little bit more like niche. And if people want to, go to, I don't want to say casual gamers because that's not really a step up from that. They're going to
Yeah.
play like the Assassin's Creeds and things like that.
Yeah.
Those people don't want to play turn-based games. They're boring.
But then again, that people love threes and people love things that take turns too. On
Yeah.
their
The
iPads, so
asynchronous
it's
I
weird.
know.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
The other, the I think the corollary to that is the more interesting aspect of it, which is taking something that is traditionally been very visceral and action oriented, and slowing it down so you can actually take the time to think about your next action and come up with new strategies. So the example that springs to mind is there's a tactical game based on football. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like it takes all that stuff that's happening and slows it down to minute by minute, and you can actually plan out your moves.
Yeah.
And that's sort of an unexplored genre, I think.
I think, yeah, and all that being said, I would still love to sit down and play a Dragon Quest game, and just like take my time and do turn-based. So I still have love for that. So, but I found myself in Fallout grabbing like a sledgehammer and doing it like I would play in Skyrim, like a two-headed sword, and doing action. And then when I got to the time where I could use VATS, or whatever, I could use VATS in the beginning, but I didn't use it. I was like, what's going on with me?
Weird.
I like changed.
You're all Skyrim'd up.
I know. I was like, I just want to hit people. So, okay, the winner is Action RPG.
Action.
Okay.
You win this time.
You win this time. We'll get you next time. Okay, that's going to do it for the show. We got through all stages. We didn't lose any lives, even though I don't think that was a possibility. Let's talk about where people can find you on the internets.
Okay.
Nathan?
People can find me on Twitter at anotherfluke. You can also find my video game trivia night, The Question Block, at www.thequestionblock.com.
And that's where your podcasts are too, right?
We also post the podcast there. You can also find the podcasts that we do at seattleretro.org, which is the website for the Seattle Retro Gaming Expo.
Which you should get tickets for, because when you're listening to this, which will be in a couple days, they're still available.
Tickets are still available, and we also have a contest that's ending at the end of this month. It's called Swag Hound. You register as you normally would for the show, and you're entered into a contest to win one of, I think it's 10 3D printed mini NES systems.
Oh, cool.
And they're awesome. As seen on Kotaku, he's been featured there, and Will Wheaton is a fan of these mini NESs
and they look
stuff, so.
rad.
Cool. And yeah, Kinsey, you'll be there at the conference as well.
I will.
And you're on the Twitters.
I'm on the Twitters a lot. You can find me personally at Kinzilla. And also at Seattle Retro is the Seattle Retro Twitter, which I also manage, and Facebook.com/Seattle Retro. So definitely check us out.
And the conference is what dates again?
It's
It's June 28th and 29th at the Washington State Convention Center in Seattle.
Where we are right now.
yeah.
At SecurityCon. I'm just trying to say it the most wrong
Security
way ever.
cans.
SecurityCons. You can check me on Twitter, ONAWA. VideoGameBreak.net just got a relaunch, an update of snazzy skin. Go check it out and go to the Super Battle Stage page and start voting for your favorite game ever.
Vote for Dragon Age.
All the games. You can vote for Dragon Age Origins. Yeah, all the games, I'm trying to add them. Right now there's a little bit more A's and B games because I'm starting, I started that way. And for some reason, Alan Wake is, well, I know the reason. Alan Wake is #1 right now. It is a great game, but it was also one of the first games I added. So a lot of people voted for it.
Lots of votes.
First. Yeah. So go and vote. Pick your favorite game. Also, our podcast, this one you're listening to, just got added to a rad site called technology.fm. Check them out. They have a lot of great podcasts, including some great tech podcasts as well. And also, I want to tease that I believe I'm going to be talking with Richard Garriott next week.
Ooh,
Of Ultimate
Lord
fame.
British himself.
Lord British himself, I believe. We've been talking on Twitter and email, so they're going to try to make it happen and make it one of these podcasts. So that's cool.
Try not to get any space germs from him.
I'm nice. Well, it's going to be Skype, so
I want space germs. What are you talking about?
I know. I want to go to space.
Yeah.
All right, and with that, edit point.